The twin suns of Xyphoran bled orange and violet across jagged crystal cliffs that jutted like the spines of some ancient leviathan. Winds, thick with metallic dust, howled through valleys where rivers of liquid nitrogen carved channels that glowed faintly in the twilight. Strange, floating flora drifted in the breeze, pulsating with bioluminescent life, each pulse syncing with an alien rhythm that seemed almost aware. Captain Jace Mercer crouched atop a ridge, surveying the scene through a visor streaked with frost. His mission seemed simple: scout this mining colony's perimeter for signs of rebel activity, report anomalies, and leave. Small mission, routine, easy. Yet the wind carried whispers of something deeper, something alive. Jace had on his pulse pistol, no from fear, but from a human instinct over decades of fighting in hostile systems. Humans weren't naturally the strongest or the fastest on a galactic scale, but where others hesitated, humans acted. Where others calculated, humans improvised. Where others fled, humans charged. And somehow that made them dangerous. Below him, the colony sprawled across jagged terraces, its metal structures hissing under alien winds. A transport drone, small and sleek, flitted between towers, carrying precious mineral cores. Jace's comm buzzed with the monotone voice of HQ. Routine sweep, Captain. No engagement expected. Report anomalies only. Esmirked. Humans had a way of turning routine into legendary. Jace's scanner pinged a faint life sign, irregular and desperate. Down in a jagged canyon, amidst the swirl of metallic dust and shards of broken machinery, a lone figure struggled. She was Lyra, a Xyphoran emissary, small and fragile-looking by alien standards. Her translucent skin shimmering with streaks of sapphire and emerald. Other humans in the colony's perimeter had already moved on, deeming her presence a liability. Soldiers whispered of high-risk casualties and left her to fate. But Jace's human instinct wouldn't allow it. With a running leap across fractured rock, he landed beside her just as a jagged crystal shard threatened to impale her. "You're crazy," she gasped, clutching at his arm. "Depends on who you ask," Jace quipped, hoisting her to her feet. "Some call it crazy. I call it human." The storm of wind picked up, whipping dust and shards around them. Other humans might have turned their backs, but Jace never did. His heart pounded not just from exertion, but from the strange, electric resonance that ran between them as their eyes met. "Why are you helping me?" Lyra asked, her voice trembling yet tinged with defiance. "Because no one gets left behind," Jace said simply. "Especially yourself, yet in that moment, me alien is frappery form to form. A human heart and an alien soul, united by courage and compassion, an unmistakable spark in a galaxy that often treated life as expendable." By the time Jace and Lyra reached a hidden alcove beneath the cliffs, the twin suns had dipped below the jagged horizon, leaving a violet twilight that made the crystal cliffs glow like fire. Lyra leaned against the rocks, catching her breath, her luminescent veins pulsing in soft waves. "You really didn't have to save me," she said, half chiding, half curious. "I did," Jace replied with a grin. "Humans don't leave people behind. That's rule number 1. He tossed a ration pack toward her. Rule number 2, never trust a Xyphoran emissary to stay quiet about secrets. You're glowing more than the cliffs, by the way." She laughed softly, the sound echoing strangely among the crystal formations. "You think humans are special?" "I know humans are special," he said firmly. "We survive where others fail. We fight where others hesitate. And sometimes, we even fall in love in the middle of alien storms." He winked, and she rolled her eyes, though her pulse quickened. But the moment of levity was shattered by a flicker on his Scanneran encrypted transmission from the colony's central AI. It wasn't routine. Someone was masking troop movements. Someone was experimenting with the mineral cores in ways that violated interstellar law. War crimes, maybe worse. Lyra's eyes widened. That's forbiddance. Only the Admiralty has that level of clearance. Jace's jaw tightened. Then it's time we stop pretending this is a simple perimeter sweep. Humans don't wait for permission when someone's in danger, as they shared a charged glance. The storm outside seemed to fade in significance. The galaxy might be on the brink of conspiracy, empire oppression, and secrets that could burn entire worlds but together. They had the courage and cunning to face it. And somewhere deep in their shared gaze, both realized that what started as a rescue might very well turn into something far larger: trust, courage, and maybe even love. The air in the canyon shimmered as Jace and Lyra sprinted along jagged crystal terraces, the metallic dust swirling in their wake. Behind them, armored drones black and serrated, their sensors glowing red-buzzed like angry hornets. The colony's AI had flagged their movements, and now forces loyal to the secret Admiralty plan were hunting them. "Think you can outrun that thing?" Lyra shouted over the wind, vaulting a shard of crystalline rock. "I don't outrun it," Jace said, flipping over a jagged ridge. "I outsmart it!" He kicked a loose boulder, sending it spinning into a narrow passage. The lead drone skidded to a halt, its optics flickering. Lyra laughed breathlessly, almost falling into his arms, and Jace caught her without missing a step. "You're insane," she gasped. "Human," he corrected, grinning. Big difference. They leaped across a chasm, landing in a hollow cavern where glowing fungi cast eerie shadows. Lyra pressed a hand to the cavern wall, her skin pulsating with bioluminescence. "There's a psychic link here. I can sense the path ahead," she whispered, almost reverently. Jace raised an eyebrow. "Psychic link, huh? I've faced mercenaries, space pirates, and worse but this. This might be new." Guided by Lyra's ability, they navigated twisting tunnels and collapsing crystal bridges. The drones followed, relentless. Jace's pulse pistol barked in the dim light, shattering drone sensors while Lyra's alien energy disrupted their targeting systems. Their movements synchronized perfectly, a dance of human ingenuity and alien power. By the time they reached a hidden plateau above the canyon, the drones lay in smoking wreckage. Jace extended a hand, helping Lyra steady herself. "Not bad for a small mission," she teased, her pulse still rapid, her eyes bright. Jace grinned, brushing a strand of glowing hair from her face. "Small mission, big adventure." Just how humans like it, but as they caught their breath, a deeper truth settled between them. The Admiralty's reach was greater than they'd realized. And the conspiracy ran far deeper than a few rogue drones. Their fight was only beginning. The plateau was alive with bioluminescent flora. The air thick with a heady, sweet scent that made time itself feel fluid. Lyra knelt among the glowing plants, her hands tracing intricate patterns on the crystalline floor. "This is the ritual of resonance," she explained, voice low and reverent. "It's how Xyphorans connect to each other, to life, to someone they trust completely." Jace frowned. "Trust, huh? Humans are usually trusted after a few battles and a lot of stubbornness." She smirked, her glowing veins pulsing with amusement. "You'll have to do better than that." Kneeling beside her, Jace extended his hand. Their fingers brushed, and a spark of energy leapt between them. Lyra closed her eyes, and Jace felt it to a psychic resonance, a bridge of thought and emotion that bypassed words. He could feel her fear, her hope, her courage, and, unexpectedly, her attraction to him. "You can feel it too," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. "I do," he said, "and it's something else." As the ritual progressed, the plateau itself seemed to respond. The bioluminescent flora brightened, pulsing in sync with their joined energy. Jace's heart raced not from adrenaline this time, but from the intimacy of shared awareness. Every thought, every pulse of life, seemed to flow between them, binding them in a way no human or alien had experienced before. When the ritual ended, they both collapsed on the crystalline ground, laughing softly, hearts still pounding in unison. "You've officially made me Xyphoran compatible," Jace said with a grin. Lyra nudged him gently with her shoulder. "Careful, human." That's not just a compliment, it's a bond. For the first time, the dangers of the galaxy faded into the background. Together, they weren't just a human and an alien, they were a force. A fusion of courage and power, ready to face whatever the Admiralty might throw at them. The sky over the mining colony erupted in fire as Admiral Kale Vaughn's flagship descended. Black and angular, eclipsing the twin suns. Drones swarmed like locusts, cutting through the canyon winds. The Admiralty had discovered Jace and Lyra's interference, and they were coming to make an example. Jace crouched behind a crystal outcropping, pulse pistol in hand. Lyra's glowing veins pulsed with anticipation, energy crackling around her like a living aura. "Ready for this?" he asked, eyes narrowing. "I've never been more ready," she replied, her voice steady, though the psychic resonance between them hummed with intensity. The battle erupted. Jace's human ingenuity led a flanking attack. He ricocheted energy, bolts off crystalline walls, collapsing drone ranks with precise improvisation. Lyra's psychic abilities pulsed in tandem, disabling targeting systems and sending waves of disruptive energy into enemy circuits. Each time one of them struck, the other anticipated it, their bond turning coordination into something almost supernatural. And then the Admiral appeared towering in exosuit armor, his voice booming through the comms. "You dare defy the Admiralty, human? Jasmir." "We don't just dare, we do." Lyra surged forward, linking her energy to Jace's, creating a vortex of psychic resonance that destabilized the Admiral's suit. Sparks flew, circuits fried, and the exosuit stumbled. Jace charged, using a combination of grit and improvisation, striking the weak points Lyra revealed. Together, human determination and alien power shattered the symbol of empire oppression. When the dust settled, the Admiral's forces had retreated. The colony lay scarred but free. Jace and Lyra stood side by side, breathing heavily, their hands brushing as they surveyed the battlefield. "Not bad for a small mission," Jace said, grinning. Lyra laughed, leaning closer. "I think this mission just became legendary. In that moment, vix milles maintenant and monumental." Together, they had turned courage and love into a weapon stronger than any empire could wield. The twin suns rose again over Xyphoran 7, casting golden light across the crystalline cliffs. The colony was slowly rebuilding, humans and Xyphrans working side by side. Inspired by the courage of a human and an alien who refused to leave anyone behind. Jace and Lyra stood at the edge of a cliff, overlooking the valley below. Lyra's hand rested lightly in his, their psychic resonance still humming a quiet, constant reminder of their bond. "You know," Lyra said softly, "we've changed more than just this colony." Jace tilted his head, curious. "People see humans differently now," she said, her glowing veins pulsing warmly. "Not just brave. Compassionate, determined, special. And you," Jace said, turning to her, "have shown me a universe worth protecting and loving." Lyra smiled, leaning into him. Their foreheads touched, the connection between them deeper than words, stronger than any empire or army. Later, they adopted a small Xyphoran orphan, a child left behind by the Admiralty's oppression, naming him Kelran, a living symbol of unity, hope, and the love that had triumphed against impossible odds. as the sun set again, painting the sky with violet and gold. Jace and Lyra stood together, hearts bound across species and worlds. Their love, courage, and compassion became a legend whispered across colonies, a tale that reminded all beings that humans could be more than warriors. They could be saviors, partners, and beacons of hope. And as Xyphoran ran toward them, laughter echoing across the crystalline cliffs, Jace caught Lyra's hand and squeezed it. "Small mission," he murmured, grinning. "Legendary adventure," she replied, and together they watched the horizon. Ready for whatever came next, united, fearless, and in love. Months had passed since the fall of Admiral Xyphoran. Xyphoran was healing. But scars remained both on the land and in the hearts of its people. Jace and Lyra moved through the colony, now a bustling hub of humans and Xyphorans united. Markets thrived where ruins once smoldered. Children played among crystal spires. And the adopted Xyphoran raced through glowing gardens, laughter echoing off jagged cliffs. Jace adjusted his visor, scanning for anomalies. "Nothing suspicious today," he muttered, though his instincts prickled. Humans always noticed what others missed. Lyra caught his glance, sensing his ennies through their psychic bond. "Something's coming," she said quietly. "I feel it." Even in peace, the galaxy remained restless. The Admiralty might have been defeated here, but shadows stretched across neighboring systems, and humans. Well, humans always found a way to step into the storm. La Tatenite, aboard the observatory, J-intercept transmission. Its source, an uncharted sector deep in the unclaimed void reaches. The code was old pre-Admiralty but encrypted in a way that suggested a conspiracy even older than Vorn himself. Lyra hovered beside him, hand resting against his arm. "You want to go?" "Je asked." "I do," Jace said, a grin tugging at his lips. Humans have a way of chasing trouble. And apparently, love makes it more fun. The psychic link pulsed between them, anticipation and adrenaline intertwining. Together, they would explore the unknown and face whatever secrets the galaxy tried to bury. Their ship, sleek and reinforced for deep space travel, cut through the black expanse. Nebulae swirled like storms frozen in time. Lyra's bioluminescence reflected softly on the control panels, while Jace's hands danced over the instruments, navigating by instinct, experience, and sheer human improvisation. "This salve Lyra murmured, almost conscious. Jasmir! Sounds like home to me, but danger was close. Rogue warships, abandoned orbital stations, and ancient defense arrays tested their skill. Yet, human courage and alien intuition carried them through, each challenge deepening their bond and refining their teamwork. They arrived at a derelict space station orbiting a gas giant shrouded in storms. Here, in hidden archives, they uncovered evidence of a galaxy-wide experiment manipulating sentient species to create obedient armies. The Admiralty's atrocities were only the tip of the iceberg. Lyra's eyes glowed with anger and fear. They're still out there. Controlling, experimenting, enslaving. Jace gripped her hand. Then we stop them. Again, humans don't give up on the helpless. And we do it together. Their psychic link flared, a surge of courage and unity. As if the universe itself recognized their resolve. Amidst danger and conspiracy, their love flourished. Nights aboard the ship were filled with laughter, quiet touches, and whispered promises. Lyra taught Xyphoran to harness his budding abilities safely, while Jace shared stories of human resilience and daring exploits, grounding their adopted child in courage, hope, and love. In the heart of darkness, humans and aliens alike saw that love, especially human compassion and bravery, could shine brighter than any. The derelict station groaned as ancient systems flared to life. Warning, glyphs crawled across the walls, projected by half-dead holly emitters. Jace, Lyra, and Kelrin moved through the corridor, Jace in front, Lyra in the middle, Kelrin close behind, clutching a small, flickering light crystal. "Stay close," Jace murmured. "If anything moves and it's not us, I shoot it." Kelrin's eyes shimmered, "Even if it's big and scary." "Especially if it's big and scary," Jace said, offering a crooked grin at the central core. Te fundite, a holomap of the entire sector, threaded with lines and nodes, a network of covert labs and reclamation centers. Species names scrolled past. Human. Xyphoran, dozens more. Test groups. Behavioral conditioning. Psychic dampeners. Lyra's hands trembled as she touched the interface. They weren't just experimenting. They were trying to rewrite what it means to feel, to love, to choose. Jace's jaw tightened. Then we break their toys. The station shuddered. External sensors lit up. Multiple drive signatures. Warships. Lyra's eyes widened. They're here! Not just any ships, the Continuity Oversight Fleet. The Admiralty's darker, deniable arm. Where Vorn enforced fear, these were the ones who cleaned up the mess and erased the witnesses. "Kelren," Jace said, his voice calm but urgent, "back to the ship. You know, the route." Kelren hesitated. "But humans protect their kids," Jace said, kneeling to meet his eyes. "No matter what." Lyra sank beside them, pressing her glowing palm to the boy's chest. "You carry our light." "Both of us. Go. We'll follow." Kelren nodded, then ran. The station lights flickered as docking clamps engaged. Jace stood, pistol already in hand. Round 2. Lyra's aura flared, shimmering like a living aurora. Randetsu. The docking bay doors boomed open. Armored troopers poured in, sleek black armor, visors blank, rifles humming. At their center stood Director Cerise Tal, the true architect behind the experiments. She was tall, sharp-eyed, dressed in understated white that somehow felt more dangerous than the Admiral's brutal armor had ever been. "Captain Mercer," she said, voice smooth as ice. "Your species' propensity for interference is predictable. Yeah, humans are annoying like that," Jace replied. "We see someone pulling wings off flies. We tend to kick down the lab." Lyra stepped forward, energy crackling around her hands. "You broke worlds. You broke minds. No more." Cerise raised an eyebrow. "Emotional rhetoric. Charming, ultimately irrelevant." "Je gestured," and psychic dampeners descended from the ceiling, thrumming with venomous resonance. Lyra staggered, her glow flickering. Jace moved to catch her, one arm around her waist, his other hand firing precise shots that shattered several dampeners before the troopers adjusted their aim. "They designed those to neutralize you," Cerise said, almost curious. "Humans are." "Auxiliary. Jaslogad Halvernispe. You've clearly never seen a human on a bad day." He squeezed Lyra's hand, their bond flared. The dampeners pressed in, screaming psychic interference, but instead of crushing Lyra, the pain flowed across the link split between them. Jace's knees buckled, but he held on. Humans weren't built for this, but humans were built to endure. Lyra gasped, "You!" "You're taking some of it, sharing the load," he grunted. "Relationship thing." "Welcome to human love." Their fields merged, psychic and neural, pain and determination twisting together into something new. Lyra's energy adapted, curving around, the dampeners pattern like water seeking cracks in rock. Jace's sheer refusal to give in pure, stubborn human will acted as an anchor. The dampener's waveform slipped, desynchronized, and then began to backfire, consoles sparked. Troopers staggered as feedback hit their neural links. Cerise frowned. "Impossible." Jace smiled through gritted teeth. "That's our specialty." Lyra raised her arms, glowing brighter than he'd ever seen. Their combined resonance surged outward, not as a weapon of destruction but as a wave of clarity. The conditioning protocols embedded in the troopers' suits and implants faltered. Some stemblad, lowering their wens, Cusion replacing indoctrinated obedience. What are we doing? One whispered. This isn't right, another muttered. Cerise snarled, stepping back, re-entroll. Execute contingency. Her command cut off as Lyra focused on her, the psychic tide rising. Jace squeezed her hand, feeding courage and love across the bond. You can't erase choice, Lyra said softly, power trembling in her voice. You can't kill compassion. Director Cerise reached for a hidden control on her wrist. Jace moved first. A single shot clean. Human reflex about instinct, honed many battles. The control shattered. The station's core surged, overloading the control net. Time to go, he said. Lyra nodded, eyes locked with his. Together, they ran, weaving through reeling troopers, some of whom simply watched them go with dawning, fragile awareness. Behind them, Director Cerise screamed orders no one truly heard. They cleared the station in a burst of motion, boarding their ship as alarm screamed. Kelran scrambled down from the co-pilot seat and launched himself at them, arms wide. You came back. I knew you would, he said, hugging both of them at once. Jace ruffled his hair. Humans keep their promises, kid. Lyra pulled them into a tighter embrace, her glow soft and warm now. And Xyphorans never abandoned their hearts. The ship blasted away just as the station's core overloaded. Instead of a violent explosion, the overtaxed systems collapsed inward, sending a massive EMP shockwave that rippled through the local network. On their holodisplay, Jace watched as icons representing distant labs and control nodes winked out, one by one. Their control net, Lyra whispered. It's collapsing. Not all of it, Jace said, but enough to buy people a chance. Enough to make them question. He turned the ship toward Xyphoran 7. Later, back on the rejuvenating world of crystal, cliffs, and glowing canyons. A gathering formed on the plateau where Jace and Lyra had once performed the ritual of resonance. This time, they were not alone. Humans and Xyphoran stood in a wide circle. Some of the former troopers, who'd shaken off their conditioning, stood with them, faces solemn but hopeful. Children's laughter skipped across the wind. The twin suns burned, gold above them. Lyra stepped forward, Kelran on one side, Jace on the other. We stand here, she said, voice carrying on the wind, as proof that no empire, no experim, no war can erase the simple truth that we two are. We choose who we love. She turned to Jace, eyes shining. In Xyphoran tradition, she continued, a ritual of resonance performed twice is a vow. The first binds hearts. The second binds futures. Jace swallowed, suddenly very aware of every watching eye. In human tradition, that sounds a lot like marriage. Lyra smiled. Then let this be both. They knelt, fingers interlacing on the crystalline ground. Kelran placed his small hands over theirs, his own glow flickering faintly in harmony. The ground hummed. Light rose around them, a column of shimmering resonance. Human hearts, Xyphoran minds, and the fragile hope of dozens of species threaded through the psychic field. Drawn to the symbol they were becoming, not just lovers, not just fighters, but a family that refused to let fear define the future. Jace felt it all, Lyra's love, fierce and gentle. Kelran's trust, pure and bright, the hesitant hope of former enemies. The quiet admiration of civilians who'd watched humans fight not for conquest, but for compassion. Hey, he whispered through the link, teasing even as his chest tightened. You know, this means we're stuck with each other now, right? Lyra's laughter brushed his mind and ears both. No, Jace, it means we chose to be. Kelran squeezed their hands. I choose you too, his young mind whispered, shy but steady. The crowd around them cheered as the light slowly faded, leaving the three of them standing in a soft afterglow. The plateau's flora pulsed in a slow, contented rhythm, as if the world itself approved. Jace pulled them both into a hug, kissing Lyra's forehead, then planting an exaggerated, noisy kiss on Kelrin's hair, making the boy giggle. "So," Jace said, looking at the horizon where distant ships crossed the sky, "what do you say? We keep helping anyone who needs it, blow up a few more illegal labs, adopt a few more strays along the way." Lyra leaned into him. "Adventuring as a family. Very human. Very us," he corrected. Above them, the stars waited an endless canvas of new dangers, new allies, new lives to save. Somewhere out there, more victims of the continuity would wake up, confused and afraid, but they wouldn't be alone. No anymore. Because the story of a stubborn human, a luminous alien, and the child they chose to love had already started to spread, carried by traders, by refugees, by liberated soldiers. A story of humans who didn't just fight well. Humans who loved fiercely. Humans who, in the eyes of the galaxy, had become something terrifying and beautiful. A reminder of that compassion, Onsawa Kened is the one force Empire control. Jace squeezed Lyra's hand, Kelrin between them, all three silhouettes framed by twin suns and crystal light. Small mission, SS off. Lyra's smile was pure starlight. New legend. On Tushti, they walked toward their way, ship toward worlds. New dangers, and a future they would build with their own hands and hearts, a living symbol of unity and love across species.